We're back with a story this one's from Sports Collectors Digest, and they're reporting an $80,000 theft in cards that occurred at the National Sports Collectors Convention in Atlantic City. Here's what happened. Rick Giddings of Gizmo Sports Cards said a man who he has sold cards to in the past approached his booth on Saturday at the National, and the guy had supposedly $100,000 in two boxes, $100,000 in cash in two boxes, and he approached Rick at the table and said, "Hey, can you hold my 100K? I want to start looking at your cards." So the guy picks out 29 cards, supposedly worth around $87,000, a 56 Mantle, a 55 Roberto Clemente, a 1955 Sandy Koufax were among the cards included in the 29. So they're kind of talking and say, yeah, I guess, we'll work out a deal, but they haven't worked out a deal yet. And the customer tells Rick, "Hey, do you mind if I go give these 29 cards to my son, who's 3 booths down?" And the dealer's like, "Okay, sure." So the guy goes and gives these cards to supposedly his son, which is, I guess, 3 booths down. Then he comes back, and him and the dealer, Rick, continue talking for about an hour. At this point, the dealer, Rick, after an hour, I guess, the dealer, Rick, is like, "Hey, where's your kid with those cards?" And the customer is like, "Oh, I'll go find that rugrat. Let me go find him." So the customer heads out the front doors of the Atlantic City Convention Center, doesn't come back, but he does text the dealer, "Hey, I'll see you in the morning." Giddings, the dealer, I guess at this point, it says in the article, he starts to get suspicious. I mean, now's a good time to start getting suspicious. And he checks the boxes of money, that there's supposed to be $100,000 in cash in there. Well, there's only $500 each. So there's $1,000 in $1 bills in these 2 boxes. So when the guy no-shows the next day, Giddings calls the Atlantic City police, and they are supposedly investigating. The suspect, the customer who supposedly lives in Ohio, was contacted and asked to return to Atlantic City for an interview, and he declined. So we shall see what happens. There sounds like there's a lot more to this story. These 2 people knew each other. These 2 people had each other's phone number. There was money. It wasn't $100,000, but he did leave $1,000 at the booth. So it'd be interesting to hear the guy from Ohio, hear his side of the story. He spent a lot of time at this booth. I mean, he spent presumably well over an hour either looking through the cards and talking to this guy. He has this dealer's phone number. So, there'd be better ways to steal $80,000 in cards at the National instead of cozying up to a dealer that you supposedly know, drop him $1,000, give him your phone number, and then walk off with $80,000 in cards. So we will see if there's any more details coming out of Atlantic City from this supposed theft at a dealer table. Next topic. Backyard breaks.
Oh my God, that's a house and that's a baby.
That's right. They're back and they're getting slapped around by somebody I'm actually a huge fan of, longtime poker player Josh Arieh. He has some things to say about backyard breaks on Twitter after watching one of their breaks recently. Josh Arieh, again, professional poker player Josh Arieh, says this: "I was watching backyard breaks on TikTok. They're doing a high dollar break, and they're taking cards out of camera shot numerous times. I mentioned not to take cards off camera frame, and they insta-block me." So Backyard Breaks is blocking my boy, Josh Arieh. Josh follows this up with, "If you are an online breaker, I would beware of Backyard Breaks. From the few minutes of the stream that I watched, I mentioned keeping cards in view, and I'm snap blocked." So that is very interesting. Backyard Breaks claim they do this because they want to keep it a secret for the people in chat. I don't know what the explanation was. I think at all times you should keep, no matter what if you're on Whatnot and there's a vertical stream, if you're using a horizontal, whatever you're doing, I think you should try to keep the cards on camera, especially, I think at all times. And he mentions it was a high dollar break. I think, especially in instances of that, you could have new customers. You could have people, again, like Josh, kind of checking you out for the first time, saying, "Hey, maybe I want to buy into these guys." And then he's like, "Oh, this is kind of shady. These cards are off frame. I don't know what's going on." And as a poker player like Josh, he kind of sniffs out the scams and the scandals probably better than anybody else, because that industry's, believe it or not, probably has more scams and more scandals going on than even in the sports card world. Last topic, and this is a fun one. A guy broke a box of 2003-04 exquisite basketball, and this is the LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh rookie year, and he pulled this.
Andre Miller, number 4 out of 25. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't think you could see that. I don't think you could see that. It looks like it's a redemption from the Bulls. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Do you think they'll still honor this? Wow. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh my God knows, right? Everybody tag Upper Deck and tell them to redeem it. Oh, wow. I guess that's why a lot of people don't open them.
So he hit a redemption for an exquisite autograph patch of Michael Jordan, serial number to 100. And I think he was being serious, saying, you know, hey, Upper Deck, still send me this card or still redeem this card. First of all, this card is long gone. It ended up in an employee's desk, or Upper Deck maybe sold these cards off themselves. I mean, you got to always wonder. These cards become really expensive. They end up in somebody's hands. They're not, I highly doubt this card 20 years later is sitting in some kind of warehouse or office of Upper Deck. So what do you think? Should Upper Deck do anything at all? The card's gone. Let's stop talking about, you know, issuing this card. This card is gone. But should Upper Deck do anything at all 20 years later? I don't know. How about this one? Guy sends me an email. He pulled this 2019 Red Sapphire Fernando Tatis Red Parallel, serial number to 5. 5 weeks after the redemption expired, and Topps gave him the fingers. So now on that one's not 20 years old. That one's 5 weeks old. So that one I have a little bit more sympathy for, and a little bit more questioning Topps, being like, hey, that thing's 5 weeks old. That is a very expensive card. Fernando Tatis, you know, rookie card number to 5. I mean, the Lord only knows what that thing would sell for. You know, where's that card for one? And then secondly, you know, can we get that issued? It's only 5 weeks late. In that case, I'd have a little more sympathy. Something coming out of an 03-04 exquisite basketball box. Hey, you guys can do whatever you want with your money. Hey, you can buy those boxes. My personal thing, do not open those boxes. Like, that is like the dumbest thing you could ever do. That's my personal opinion. You guys could do whatever you want with your money and open these products. I don't care. Anyways, until next time, we'll see you later. Accept my offers on ComC. If you see an offer on Check Out My Cards from Sports Card Radio, just boom, hit accept. Don't even look at it. Just boom, accept. Thank you.